Welcome, O ye devotees, to the Beyond Two Souls with a Therapist run we got going on here. Welcome to part 7. I appreciate you being here. Thanks for making an effort to watch these videos and share them with people and comment on all that fun stuff. I do read every comment. I don't respond to every comment, but I do read all of them. So thank you for continuing to provide those and for leaving likes and subscribing to the channel and all that. There's still a large chunk of people that watch all my videos and aren't subscribed. I see you. Don't be one of those people. Help a brother out. I want to get a cool plaque at 100,000. It'd be a neat little thing to have in the background, and it doesn't take any time to hit the subscribe button, so please do that. I was just saying before I fired this up to those that are here for the live stream that I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens through the rest of this playthrough, because we had some childhood stuff and some teenage stuff, and now we're entering early adulthood, and I will be interested to see how the tone of this playthrough changes as we get Jodie more as an adult doing stuff. So where the early childhood development and teenage development stuff was like my Super Bowl, we'll see if that continues. So anyway, glad you're here. Let's see what the CIA's like. Boy. They better not become a thing.
It's your room. This is where you'll study and sleep for the next 3 years.
Oh!
Training starts tomorrow at 5 a.m. Don't be late.
3 years. Wow. Oh God. Oh God.
Come on, Holmes, keep up!
Oh, Jesus.
Find your grip! Use your momentum to swing across! Hurry! That's it, Holmes! Come on! I haven't got all day!
Doing all of this shit against your will, absolute nightmare. Like, I can't, the idea that you had absolutely no say in being here and now you have to do all this crazy ass physical training and labor, while I get that may give her purpose or whatever, it all becomes essentially a coping strategy for the fact that you're in a place you never asked to be. Crazy. Like the whole, it's just terrible, man. Follow Jodie's movement direction to finish her move. Okay. I love how I'm getting this tutorial now. Okay. Ooh. Okay. If you're moving towards the left of the screen, push the stick. This is gonna be.
Let's start again.
Take cover. Aim, shoot. Advance to the next cover. Got it?
Got it.
Come on! Get out of there!
Jeez. Full concrete slide. Nice. Okay.
Cover! Fire! Come on! Good.
Excellent, Jody.
Okay, recruit. Now get rid of those oil drums.
This is so cheesy, dude. I can't. I don't know. I just. Okay. All right, Aiden. Yeah, we're gonna. Yeah. Yeah. Further reinforce everything about me being an arm of the U.S. military.
Good. Let's keep going.
Oh, Jesus. Fight! Yeah, dick. Yeah. Okay. Dude, this is so arbitrary. Oh my god. Okay. Down. Over. 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 Ouch, Jody, stop. That hurts. Can I have your approval, Ryan? Oh, man.
Master! Keep your fat ass down! Keep up! Move it, recruit! It's not a fucking Sunday stroll!
Yeah. You're such badass. So cool. Yeah. Yeah, get over that wall, Jody. Yeah. Yeah. Again. Look how adept we are now. Yeah, that's right. Take your stance. Are we doing yoga now? This is me getting ready to play goalie. Oh no. Aiden can heal things. Oh wow, okay, now we're getting real weird. Don't worry, Jody, I'll take care of your hammy. So look, I'm going to give Jody some credit, I guess. She's handed a really shitty hand. And I guess she's kind of making the most of it. If it's something where she's decided that she wants to take this seriously, whether she's being forced to or not is not entirely clear on whether she has any room to fight back on this. I mean, she is doing it. It's like, if I'm going to be forced into this situation, I'm going to do the best I can with it. I'm going to get physically fit. I'm going to be stronger. I'm going to get better at fighting. If it gives her some sense of control over an environment she's got very little control over, I can understand it. But man, all of this feels so much shittier when you know that she didn't ask to be here. So it's hard to get, and people can change. I mean, it could be one of those things where she got forced into it and then realizes that she actually really likes it. Gives her a sense of purpose. She starts to get along with the people. Maybe Aiden's taken more seriously. She doesn't feel like she's under a microscope all the time. She's actually going to be able to use her powers for good. I mean, that very well could be the case. We're not hearing any of that or seeing any of that from her. Maybe we will. So I'm not going to cast a shit ton of judgment on this. But man. But good for her for making the most out of her circumstances, I guess. Ha! Dick. Yeah, take that. Oh, no. Yep. Yeah, you little bitch. You little bitch. Does this hurt? Yeah, tap out.
Not bad.
Huh? What was that? Let me go check it out. Must have been the wind. Whoa! This is so stupid. Oh, God. Quick! Aiden! Hurry! Make him turn around! What? What was that?
You want to get shot? Come on, start again.
Oh, my God. You gave me like 2 seconds to do this, man. Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, Jesus Christ. All right. Do it again. Huh? Ah! Yeah, you little bitch. Let's go. Got my cool hat on, dude. Oh, shit. How am I? God. He's gonna see me now.
Jody, you want to get shot? Come on, start again.
Yeah, I kind of do, because it would end this. Just shoot me. Like, yeah, kind of would rather die here. God, give me the sweet release of death, man. Oh, I'll take him down. Yeah, you're an idiot. Oh, Guess we'll do it this way. Huh? Who did that? Take him down. Yeah. Like Sam Fisher, but worse. Oh God. Do I do it? Do I take it? Do I make a run for it? Oh no! Aiden, hurry! Oh God. Let's go, Jody. Let's go. Let him check it out. Yeah. Yeah. I was able to see you better with my tactical UV polarized lenses. Yeah! Give me your gun. Ah! God. All right. Yeah, you little bitch. Who else we got? We're gonna dive bomb this dude. Let's go. We're gonna break his back. America's finest. What? Wait a minute, what? Oh my God. Is this what playing Metal Gear Solid's like? Can I just shoot him? Why can't I just shoot him? How about I just choke a bitch with Aiden? Ah! Eat cement.
Not bad, Jody. But if this wasn't an exercise, you'd be dead by now.
Wow, you're so cool, Ryan.
If this wasn't an exercise, you wouldn't even be able to open your big mouth, Ryan.
Yeah, you little dick.
Congratulations, Operative Holmes. You made it. Welcome to the agency.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Jody. Welcome to the agency.
Looks like you
Great
made
job,
it.
Jody.
Oh, Ryan doesn't want to be here either. Do you have the same affliction that I do? We gonna bond over that? Oh, in good physical shape. Spotted during training. Tremendous fighter. Yeah, that's me. Okay. That was... Oh, no way.
Who are these people?
Diplomats, politicians, businessmen, spies. It's the usual embassy crowd.
This dress sucks. I knew I should have worn something else.
Dress is perfect. And you look great. But most important.
Hey, if the dress is nice, you see the dress. If the dress is perfect, you see the woman. Am I right, guys? And girls who are into women?
Important thing, act natural. If anyone speaks to you, you just smile.
So do you want me to act natural, or do you want me to smile?
I didn't know you had a sense of humor.
Only when I'm scared to death.
Ryan, I'm delighted you could attend.
Always a pleasure, Sheikh Ahmed. I would like you to meet my assistant, Elizabeth.
I was unaware that American diplomacy was undertaken with such disarming charm. The pleasure is mine, Elizabeth.
Gentlemen.
I am a little surprised that we are dressed the way we are. Because generally, you know, you don't have to do this, I guess, although in some places it can be dangerous not to do this. Like, generally, you would dress in a way that's like respectful of local custom. I guess if you're on like a CIA ops mission, I mean, I don't know. It's just interesting because like we stand out, like we massively stand out. We don't blend in at all. Oh God, I don't even know where I want to start with this. Oh man. There's a oh man, so there's a difference between commenting on somebody's appearance as a genuine compliment that is completely unassuming and making a comment about somebody's appearance that is creepy and either knowingly or unknowingly, I guess in this case, misogynistic. And talking about this in this format is really hard because it takes a long time to parse these things out in a meaningful way. But the way Ryan said that she looks, if you want an example of this, the way that Ryan said she looks nice is more in the complementarity zone. In my, just, I can't know for sure, but just bear with me here, okay? Of like, and you look nice, right? It's nothing crazy. It's nothing, it doesn't have a weird tone to it. It doesn't have some sense of like, I'm telling you, you look nice because I want to bang you and I'm going to make it very clear that I'm sexually interested in you. Just like, you know, you look nice. The way that I forget what his title is, the chic guy, Sultan guy, it talks to Jody, he's a little bit more objectifying, a little bit more creepy. Chic, thank you. And it's weird when you are in a situation where there are power dynamics. And this is often the part of these types of things that people don't really talk about well or understand, which is that, like, it's one thing if you're at a place where there's a lot of, like, lateral social power. You know, like if you're out at a bar or something and somebody says, "I like your dress," or what, you know, you're gorgeous. Maybe it's weird, maybe it's not, maybe it's a bit too much, maybe it's perfectly okay, right? But it's a little bit more of understood that that scenario is one where people may be more willing to make that type of commentary because there's not as much of a power dynamic. I'm not going to go into the whole meta about like men having more power than women and all this stuff because I could go on about that for hours, since that does play a role. But for the purposes here, like where this gets really bad is if you are a person that's in a position of power, like if your boss makes a comment about your appearance in a weird way, that's a problem because there are ramifications to whatever type of pushback you might have on that. And this is what sometimes often I'm sure the bulk of women in particular, but not just women who are watching this, have been in a situation before where somebody in a position of power has made some level of advance on your appearance, or it's like sexualized you or objectified you. And you're in a position where that person has power. And so whether you push back on that is calculus you have to do. And oftentimes what will happen is nothing. So you will go with it. Maybe you laugh. Maybe you say thank you. Maybe whatever. And what this does is it reinforces to the person in power that it's okay to do that. I'm not victim blaming here, but that's what happens. So this is how people in positions of power get really emboldened around this type of stuff, because there's not any pushback. Because if there was, even if he's a somewhat mindful dude and he's like, I mean, again, he's not her boss, but let's imagine this guy's in a position of power. He's a boss that she just got introduced to. If she pushes back or calls him a creep or makes it very clear that that's not okay, then that's one of those things that sometimes, especially if you've had multiple instances of people going with it, the guy makes a note in his head and goes, okay. And next time there's a promotion that's available, maybe you just happen to not get it despite being the most qualified. This is the type of shit that people have to deal with in these. And so it's so easy for people outside of systems to look at stuff like this and go, well, just push back. Just tell him he's being a creep. Call it out. The only person here who really has the ability to call this out in a meaningful way would be Ryan. It would be, and I realize we're in a super spy scenario here, so take this away for a second and thinking about real life. Ryan's the one that could say something here. Ryan goes, yo, come on. Knock it off. She's more than just her appearance. Don't be creepy. He can make a difference because there's a bit of a lateral move there, particularly like if they were both management or something like that. This is why we talk about like holding men accountable to other men when you see shit that's not cool. Like you gotta step up, because this idea that you put the entire burden of these types of things on women in a heterosexual scenario is not fair to women, because there's so much more at play in this. It could be dangerous for her to push back on that. And so, yeah, you take the safer route and you just go, oh, thank you. And you're so flattered. But one, it feels really shitty for you because now here you are again. He doesn't learn a lesson. And the whole cycle just keeps perpetuating itself. So this is why people in positions of power have to hold other people in positions of power accountable to these types of things, instead of expecting people who are subjected to this type of stuff to have to punch up. Like it's a really tough thing. And this is where being aware of the way that the general representation of various identities you hold is perceived by others is deeply important, because you can be aware of some of these dynamics and do better and not be creepy and not feel a sense of entitlement to a woman being flattered by you complimenting her appearance. Right? As opposed, some guys will tell you, oh, I'm genuine, I'm just being nice, I'm just telling you you're pretty. Like, yes, but you have to understand what that's often like for women to be subjected to. Your intentions might be fine, but you don't get the benefit of the doubt on intention when it comes to a scenario that for so many women is dangerous. And I emphasize these things when I do these playthroughs, not because I'm not trying to mansplain a woman's experience, because you all know this better than I do. It's more speaking to like men who watch me. You got to be aware of this shit. It's really, really, really important that, like, whether this is something you do intentionally or whether it's something you don't realize you do, understanding your social location when you engage with other people, particularly women, you have to be aware of these types of things so that you aren't creepy and don't make people uncomfortable and hold other people accountable to doing better. Which, interestingly enough, ends up making you more attractive. So this is why I emphasize this at the points in time that I can emphasize it in these playthroughs, because I think the non-judgmental repetition around it is important for people to hear. Because not that I'm perfect at this stuff, but these are the types of things that you have long conversations about when you spend your 20s in grad school and surrounded by people who can articulate these dynamics a hell of a lot better than I ever could when I was growing up. And you start to see them and it makes more sense. And that awareness is deeply important for trying to shift this stuff. Like if you watch this and you go, oh, that was a little bit weird that dude made that comment to her. Well, there are ways to do it better. Don't be him. All right. So that aside, this is all very weird. I don't have any context for what we're about to do. I have no context for what this mission is. I don't know what we're supposed to be. I don't know what the hell we're supposed to do. I don't know why we're dressed the way we are. I don't know who this guy is. Obviously, the two of them have been mission briefed, so they know more than we do. And from a video game perspective, I guess it adds to a little bit of intrigue and tension, but I don't appreciate it. And I'm going to make a point here about this, which I think is an important one. People sometimes will ask me, you know, they find out you're a therapist and then they ask you, they go, okay, well, oh man, oh, you're a therapist. God, what should I do with my mom? She drives me nuts. And my answer always, aside from just like, I'm not on the clock right now, is I don't know enough about your situation to give you any kind of meaningful feedback on it. And the TLDR on this is context is so important. And when we make assumptions about things without context or without an effort to get more of it, you're more and more likely to miss the mark. So the reason that therapists can sometimes seem dodgy in the way that they answer questions, and why it's actually, I think, better that you see therapists who are dodgy in the way they answer direct questions about subjective experiences, is because that therapist understands that they need more context. The person who sits at home and podcasts and just gives you answers to everything when you call in and just tells you, well, this is what you should do with your boyfriend, doesn't actually know what's going on for you. And unfortunately, this is the type of stuff that people get exposed to. So they think that there's these easy answers to things and that you can read a book and there's a generalized answer for how you navigate the complexities of your relationships and stuff. And that's not how it works. Context is such a deeply important component to the way that people experience their lives and their issues that it's a necessary component of assessment in order to help people move forward in a meaningful way. So if you go into therapy even and you expect in the first session that your therapist is going to like magically make things happen for you, that's not how it's going to work. I have to get to know you. I have to know your context. I have to know some of your history. I have to see patterns in the ways that you think about things. Because otherwise, we're in a scenario like this, where all of a sudden we're just, here we are. I was at a party with Ryan and it went south and I need to figure out how to navigate it better. Well, what was I don't know anything about what's happening here. So we're just going to take this in stride and see what happens. But something tells me this is going to be nutso wacko.
I give you back your host. We'll talk later on it.
Until then, Ryan.
He hates me. The whole time he was imagining my head on a stick. I think he found you charming.
I should be flattered.
Yeah, I'm gonna shake some hands, blend in, find some more quiet. You know what you have to do.
Blend in. Blend in, oh ye white girl in the red dress. Jesus Christ. You know what? Honestly, I'll bet you back in like 2013 when this game, I think this game came out in 2013. In 2013 when this came out, this would have been like totally whack, right? Like you look at this with your son and you're like, this doesn't make any sense. Why the hell would she be in that dress as a white girl done up like this? She's going to stick out like a sore thumb no matter where she is. But you know what? In 2026, I don't doubt there's going to be women in the military or the CIA that are compromised like this because of how incompetent all the leadership is. Like this became weirdly realistic in 2026 in a way that I hate. This is 1,000% the kind of dumbass shit that we would do now. And it just, I don't go too far into politics when I do these playthroughs, but it's impossible for me to not say this right now, that like with the utter incompetence that exists at so many levels of the United States government right now, this kind of thing would happen. And this is crazy.
Ambassador.
Oh, hey. All right. See ya. This is the CIA. This shit should be fully briefed, locked, loaded. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to walk in. You're going to say hi to people. Ryan's going to bail. He's going to shake hands with people. You're going to do this. The fact that this is presented as if Jody's like, wait, what do I do? Is crazy. I can't help but laugh and be critical of it. It's so ridiculous.
Surprise?
Oh no.
I need to find a quiet place.
All right, I guess I'm not the only. Okay, so all the women are wearing red dresses, so this makes a little bit more sense. All right, I guess not all of them, but a lot of them. I need to find somewhere quiet. Nowhere better than the bathroom. Okay, we do blend in a little bit more than I thought we would. I will. Yeah, I think we go to the bathroom, right? That's
I'm still into the Mustang, honestly.
You act like you can't afford 3 Ferraris.
It's not the money. I just remember how it used to feel when my dad drove me around the keys. I want that back.
God.
8 cylinders.
8 cylinders of American muscle. Female toilets, male toilets.
هناك في الشهر الماضي
So, ladies.
كل شيء من المتاجر الكبيرة.
Oh man, you want to talk about being out of your element? I have always, I'm going to engage the gender binary here for a second. I've always been really fascinated by the difference between like women's and men's public bathroom culture. Because as a dude, you go in, you do your thing, you don't make eye contact with anybody, you don't talk to anybody, and you leave. You leave one urinal in between, at least. Usually you go to the one that's the farthest away from the other dude who's there, and you never go directly to the one next to somebody if you could keep space. It's like understood etiquette in almost every context, right? Like, and you just don't, there's just very little social engagement. You're not talking to each other through the stalls. None of it. You go in, half the dudes, maybe half the dudes actually wash their hands. You would be mind blown by how many men do not just shamelessly walk out. And then here's the fascinating thing. I've never been in a women's public bathroom, so I can't speak to this. But for like men's public bathrooms, you'll have dudes that fake washing their hands because they want to socially engage, but my freedoms, I guess. Like, if you're going to go through the effort to fake it, just do it. It's kind of fascinating to me. Or like the dude who like sprays his hands for like 3 seconds and that. Just don't shake hands with men. There's a really good chance that he didn't wash his hands last time he went to the bathroom. But it's like women, on the other hand, not all women, but like it's like a social thing. It's like, hey, we're going together. And like, I've known plenty of women who've told me that like, you talk while it's like a whole thing. And so I am so out of my element here, controlling Jody walking into a women's bathroom, because like, I don't know how this works. My male sensibilities are telling me like, all right, just go into the stall and don't do anything. But that could be the worst possible thing. That could make me stick out. Oh, wait, something's up with that chick. She came in here and just went straight to the stall. Didn't do anything. Like, I don't know what I'm doing right now.
لم يكن هناك مكان كافي ألا مؤني الطائرة. فرجال جوزي
Oh, man.
من أجل بقية المشتريات.
Oh, wow. Okay, so we got like, this is like I didn't realize we had the giant ass leg slit there on the dress. Yeah, we went for like full sex appeal here. Anybody in here? Nice bathroom, I gotta say. Oh boy, we're nervous. Okay. Not good.
Aiden, are you ready? There's a large painting in one of the rooms upstairs. Behind it is a safe. The documents we're looking for are inside. But there are guards and cameras, so you have to be careful. You got it?
Guards and cameras that can see paranormal entities? Oh shit, she like, whoa. We've not seen that, have we? Wonder if she's like able to actually see what he sees now. Wait a minute, I can't just go upstairs from the bathroom?
Hurry, Aiden. It hurts like hell when you're too far away.
Okay, well, so I can't go through some walls. I can go through doors, can't go through some walls. All right, painting. Staff only. Can I shut off the security stuff? That seems like it might be a bad idea.
An office with a portrait of the Sheik.
Okay.
This is the place. Crap. You gotta distract the guard first.
Nana.
Okay. Nobody will be able to monitor the main office now. We should be safe. There's gotta be a switch somewhere. To move the painting. Find it, Aiden.
Why can't I just go into it?
Now let's see if you can open the safe. Good job. Now we have to read the documents. Make it quick. I can't hold on much longer. Okay, now don't move.
هل من أحد هناك؟ الرجاء الخروج من هناك على الفور.
ولكن ماذا تفعل هنا؟ إنها مراهد السيدات. انصرف من هنا
حسناً
أيها المنحرف.
سأنصرف.
Sorry. I can't do anything to help you. Good luck.
This music sounds like Inception. Oh boy. We should probably clean ourselves up. Did Hans Zimmer do the music for this game? It's amazing if he did. You better get it together.
Jody, all right?
Don't touch me! I want to go now.
Right. Yeah, we're leaving.
Finish the mission with Aiden only. Pause the video undetected. Finish the mission without the Sheik. Okay. Whose house am I at?
Yeah?
Jody. Hey, it's Ryan.
Ryan.
I was just wondering if you got my email.
What email?
The one I sent 3 days ago.
You know, I've actually been having problems with my computer. What was the email about?
Dinner, tonight, fancy restaurant. Anyway, it's too late now, so maybe another time?
Shit, I'm so sorry. You know, why don't you just come over here for dinner tonight? I mean, you wanted to see my apartment anyway, so...
Sure, but
How about around 8?
Okay. Yeah, I'll bring a kick-ass bottle of wine. See you later.
To be clear, I'm not upset by the idea that, like, maybe Jody autonomously came to the decision that Ryan is somebody that she's into. Like, this is where this gets a little bit weird, because this is bad writing. It's all, and it's what it is. It's just bad writing. So I have to work with I got to work with the material I'm given. I have to assume that, you know, this is something that Jody wants because she's acting as if it's something that she wants. So I'm going to have to treat it that way. But, like, come on. So, I mean, everything about the reason this is bad is because, one, I have to imagine this type of thing wouldn't be okay. And even if it was, it's gross. I mean, Jody, I'm guessing, hasn't really been exposed to many other people. And so she's going to habituate to the people that are around her. And if Ryan is in a position of power and he's like an attractive dude and he's been there through her whole development and they've had these vulnerable moments together, it's his responsibility to know to not take advantage of that. So this comes down to like a stupid storytelling trope. Guy that you hate because he took you to the CIA becomes somebody you got a big old crush on. It's hard. It's like I'm conflicted, and I can see it coming. I could see it coming. Last episode, I knew this was going to happen because it's so cliche, and I just wish that writers wouldn't bite on shit like this. I just genuinely wish, because it's just so. I mean, it's realistic in a sense that. It's realistic in a sense that like this type of thing could happen. Because she's in a lot of ways like taken advantage of, and you know maybe there's things we haven't seen, and she genuinely moved to a point where she saw value in him and they commiserated over their CIA experience, and there's been some vulnerable conversations, but we don't see the development of any of this. We see Jodie start with, in the last episode, hating this guy's guts because he took her away from Nathan, and then next thing we know, she's got a big old fat crush on him and invites him over to her apartment. That's what makes this so jarring. I don't get to see the development of this. I don't get to see how it was tumultuous and how he worked for it and how she worked for it and how there was context. Again, it's context. There's just no context given for this. And when you're going to do a deeply narrative-driven game like this, I need that. I don't really care about the age gap. The age gap's not like, that doesn't matter. I've seen plenty of relationships where there's a massive age gap and they do just fine. That's not really a thing that, yes, he plucked her out when she was young. I guess she was probably like 18 or so when that happened. Maybe she was a little younger than that. She's an adult now. She's perfectly capable of making her choices. And so the way that I'm going to treat this is this way, which is that she is an adult who's capable of making choices. And the position of authority is absolutely what makes this a problem. And when you are the person in the position of authority, it's your responsibility to acknowledge and understand the way that that position of authority affects these types of things. This could be so much better. I mean, genuinely part of the reason that she probably feels this way. I mean, this is worth talking about. And I have to make assumptions because it's a video game and I don't have all the context for this. All right. So just know, yes, I realize I'm coming out of left field on some of these things, but it makes sense. Jodie was not socialized the way that most people are socialized. Jodie didn't go to school, be introduced to a wide variety of people. She spent her formative years in a lab and had very limited social engagement. She had one situation at a party where she made out with a dude while she was dancing with him, as far as we know, and that went south. She's not really had the ability to be subjected to the normative aspects of development that we see through, late single digits in her teenage years. And so this, in some ways, is partially a product of oscillation. Because developmental oscillation happens at all layers of development. It's not just something that happens in the teenage years. So Ryan is a person who is in a position of evaluation, which means that he's in a position to be able to validate her. Well, Jodie has not had an experience of having a deep amount of validation from a lot of people, and certainly hasn't been able to share Aiden as something that is seen as just a matter of course. So Ryan is inherently in a context where he becomes the person who evaluates her and thus gives her validation for the thing that she's engaged in and spending her life doing right now, that she was doing against her will. So he's the one whose good job means a lot. He is attractive. We have to take that into account, that has an effect on this. She hasn't had a huge variety of men that she's engaged in, and my assumption here at this point is that she's heterosexual or maybe bisexual, but she's heterosexual because she's got some level of interest in him. And so it's very limited exposure. So when this person who's in a position of authority, who gives you a whole bunch of validation, who you haven't had a lot of socialization around other men, comes by, then yeah, you have a crush on him. In part because one of the most important components of how people form relationships is proximity, which doesn't get talk. Everybody talk about like compatibility and personalities and all this shit. Proximity. I met my wife in grad school. We were proximal to each other. My wife did her undergrad in Boston. I did my undergrad in Indiana. If she had stayed in Boston, I stayed in Indiana, I never would have met her. Right? Like proximity is what brings people together more than anything else. She's not proximal to a lot of people. So you take all of this, and it's understandable why Jody would be in a vulnerable position, and then you add the hierarchical structure of her and Ryan to this, and it makes sense. And for a lot of people, authority and power is attractive. And people who carry themselves confidently is attractive. He seemingly does that. So it makes sense why she would have a crush on him. The thing that sucks is that she's just in like this really limited capacity. And so she's more susceptible to a person in a position of power being able to take advantage of that, in part because of this. So homogeneity doesn't help her here. And so having her development be stuffed into a lab is affecting this. And it's and this is the type of context that, you know, in this scenario, it does make sense. I mean, I can get there. It's just, you know, it's a bummer.
Now I get why you blasted my computer.
I just also, I just want to, it feels like I need to say this. Jody is kind of like objectified and sexualized just in the way she's presented to us. Like, I don't love how many times we see her just like sitting in her underwear. It feels entirely gratuitous and unnecessary. Like, why not put her in pajama pants right now? I'm not, and I'm, you know, super liberal with like, you know, sexual expression and stuff. It just feels a little weird that this keeps happening.
You didn't want me to see Ryan.
Sure didn't.
It's not your call, Aiden.
Fair.
I can do what I want.
Okay.
Fuck this. Fuck this! We're not gonna start this again. I'm not yours, Aiden. I can have a relationship with whoever I want. This is my life. Oh, do you fucking hear me? This is my life. You know what? I happen to think Ryan is great. Right? He's charming, he's intelligent, he's funny. And I think I'm falling for him. Okay.
So it makes sense why this is something that would be playing out with Aiden. Because Aiden is absolutely her, attachment figure. The thing that's a little bit tricky about this is we still don't have a lot of context for what Aiden actually is. We don't know if he's like an adult. We don't know if he's a kid. We don't know if he's the same age as Jody. We don't really know the nature of what he is. So him expressing disapproval for Ryan would suggest that he has some level of sensibility that allows him to draw conclusions about people with like data about them. And it's understandable why Aiden, I guess, would be protective of Jody. Now, whether Aiden is against Ryan because of what Ryan has shown himself to be, or whether it's out of a place of having a hard time seeing Jody move to a place where she wants to connect more deeply with somebody else besides him, is hard to know. But this is the type of thing that happens for people, in particular parents sometimes really struggle with this. They'll, we get into these stupid social tropes about like, bring your boyfriend over, Jody. But there is a component, I think, that parents struggle with, which is when your kid reaches a point where they want to engage with a partner, say as a primary attachment figure, as opposed to you. That is a big developmental shift for a parent to make. And some struggle with that. Some will express disapproval of relationships. And friends do this too. Friends will express disapproval of intimate relationships because they want to preserve what they have in the friendship. My wife and I talk about this all the time. As soon as people tell us that they're having a kid, we're like, God damn it. Because it means we're going to lose you, or we're going to lose a big chunk of you, because that's just how it goes. And so there's a level of like bias that people have sometimes in wanting to preserve the things that they like. If I spend a lot of time with you and then you tell me that you're going to have a kid, I'm biased. Or if you talk to me about wanting to have a kid, I'm not going to say don't do it, right? But I do have to acknowledge I'm biased in this conversation because I know when you have a kid, you're going bye-bye. And everybody goes, no, we won't. Well, we won't. We'll still be here. No, you won't. No, you won't. You will not. I have yet to ever meet somebody who has told me that when they had a kid, nothing would change, and that was true. It's just not how it happens, unless you want to pawn your kids off to a nanny 24/7 and then do whatever you want, right? Like if you're going to be even a monochrome of a decent parent who's involved in your kid's life, it's going to change things, and that's fine. That's fine. The point that I want to make here, though, is that this is why you have to be careful. So, yes, taking social feedback about things is important, but the thing that you always have to remember is that everybody else has bias. So Aiden may have bias in his approval of Ryan, which may have nothing to do with Ryan and more to do with, I don't want to see you rely on him, because then what do I do? And if you've over-invested your identity in showing up for other people, being the best friend, whatever, and then your friends find other people and they start to engage in maybe an intimate relationship or other friendships or whatever, and then you get jealous and you start to be all up in your head about, well, what does this mean for me? And then you over personalize it. You can actually hurt your relationships pretty significantly in that process. Doesn't mean you can't necessarily voice your opinion on something, but Jody is also correct. It's a little bit weird, again, because he's a paranormal entity that's literally tethered to her like a freaking umbilical cord. But like the general way that you have to look at these things is like it is her right to pursue this. And if she does decide that she wants to pursue Ryan, then there's not, if you're her friend, then we're going to maybe think about Aiden as being her friend. Now, if I'm Aiden and I'm tethered to you like this, I'm like, I don't want to watch that, but it's different. It's not a realistic scenario. So you got to be careful. Like there's a line that you toe when you have deep engagements with other people, because other people are going to engage in the things that they want to engage in. And so the word of caution on this is why we always talk about why you do have to invest in yourself. You do have to take care of yourself. You do have to understand like your identity and find your purpose outside of just investing in the other people around you. Because if you only invest and see yourself relative to the other people in your life, and you dump a whole bunch of your identity into being a certain thing for certain people, and those people autonomously decide to move their energy to other places, you're going to suffer for it. So you have to build your own sense of self-esteem and purpose and all the values in addition to the connections that you make, because that's what you'll have to rely on when some of these things get disrupted. So we're going to see a rift between the two of them, because it's been Aiden and Jody for 22 years, and now she's interested in an intimate partner, which is going to theoretically be the person that she goes to, or is going to have to be something she negotiates in the context of Aiden. And I could make the argument that if Aiden's tethered to her, then he has a say in this. You know, it's kind of like if you live with your brother or something, and then you're like, I have a boyfriend I want to start bringing over and invading our space. Like you do have to have a conversation, because there's an impact. And that's where good communication is going to get you through. But this is going to be interesting to watch this happen.
7 o'clock. I have an hour to make dinner, tidy up, and make myself look good.
You don't have to do any of those things, by the way. You don't have to. You know why you might clean your space up a little bit, right? People put... Okay, this is something I'm very passionate about. I can't tell you how many conversations I've had about this over the last, 15 years of my life, both professionally and personally. I cannot emphasize this enough. If you've watched any of my other playthroughs, you've heard me talk about this, but I'm going to talk about it again. genuinely, the most important thing you can ever bring to dating, which, by the way, I'm going to take this relationship with Ryan seriously going forward, because I have to. If I keep talking about how dumb the relationship is, it's not going to help anything. So we're going to take it seriously henceforth. The most important thing that you can bring to dating is authenticity. So many people, when they start dating, get in their heads about what they think they're supposed to be, and they present a false front. They might hide certain hobbies and interests that they're interested in, that they are judgmental about and project onto other people. Maybe you don't keep a perfectly clean apartment all the time, and then you feel like you have to be perfectly clean. Maybe you present yourself by wearing certain things that you would never otherwise wear. You talk in certain ways that you would never otherwise talk, and you're doing it all because you think that's the thing that's going to get somebody hooked. And what the problem is in doing that is that eventually your authenticity is going to catch up with you. There's going to be a point in time where, should that relationship start to move along the tracks of intimacy and getting deeper, you are going to come out. And you, if there's a big old gap between you and the dating you that you've been presenting, now all of a sudden, the person you're dating is going to have this weird experience of sort of having to like see what you actually are as it starts to come out. And that's not like necessarily a manipulative thing or a bad process, and plenty of people get over that, but it causes a lot of anxiety for people when they date. Because the easiest way to block out as much social anxiety as possible, and I know there's going to be people that disagree with me when I say this, but I'm telling you it's the case, that the biggest possible way to disengage from social anxiety is to be yourself. And if you're like, well, Dr. Mick, being myself, I'm awkward. I dance weird and I make weird comments and I have a weird sense of humor that people don't get. Ugh. Fine. Find the people that appreciate that. It might make it harder. I understand that it might make it harder, that there are certain things that like you have a better percentage chance of landing somebody if that's the case. But if you're weird, find somebody who appreciates your weird. Find a person when you go out, you're at a bar and they approach you and you make a stupid, weird joke because you're weird, and that person laughs at it. And then they make a weird joke and you're vibing. That's what you want. You do not want to put on a whole front that isn't you and then have that come out later, because then you're really going to feel rejected. Because then what you're going to think is that the only way that you'll ever be attractive to anybody is to not be yourself. And that's not true. You are so much better off when you start dating, having somebody after the first date go, you know what, I don't think this is going to work out, than you are going 3 months in, a year in, and then that person goes, you know, I really don't like who you turned into as we got to know each other. You don't want that. Save yourself the time. The best thing anybody can ever do, aside from, you know, vibe with your weird, is reject you. Because, especially up front, because then you can move on to something else. Like, and it sounds so counterintuitive when I say this stuff to people, but like if somebody breaks up with you, they've done you a favor. They've said to you, I don't want to keep going with this. And it's hard and it's emotional and it's brutal, but they've done you a favor. They've said, I no longer want to bring energy to this relationship. It's time for me to move on. And then you get a chance to move on and find somebody who wants to invest in you. This person has decided they don't want to invest in you anymore. That's not the kind of energy you want to be with. You spend all your time trying to chase them and get them back and all this nonsense. It's not going to work. It's not going to work for you. So if Jody orders a pizza, puts on her weird music, and like, you know, cleans up a little bit, but mostly is willing to just leave her apartment as is, and Ryan comes over and he's a total fucking dick about it, and he's like, you ordered pizza? Jesus, and your apartment's a mess? Then get out. Then get out. Because I'm going to wear my dinosaur I'm going to wear my marathon t-shirt. I'm going to do this. That's what I do. I play video games. I paint Warhammer. It's what I do. I don't know what to tell you. Wow, you have a case of Warhammer miniatures that you spend hundreds of hours painting? Sure do. You own your shit. Own what makes you you. That's where confidence comes from. I'm so passionate about this because it drives me the amount of times that people express so much anxiety and distress and low self-esteem because they're trying to be something they're not and it's not working for them. I could write a goddamn novel about all the times that I've had conversations with people about this. And this is something that people have to learn as they get older. And this is part of when people say that you have to really, you have to understand yourself and be cool with you before you start dating. This is what they're talking about. It's not find confidence in being a confident person that you see your friend being. It's find confidence in owning who you are. Own your interests, own your vibes, own your sense of humor, own the things you like, own the things you don't like. Bring that to the table. And believe me, there will be people who can hang. And there are people who will have parts of it they don't like and they'll hang because they like the other parts. And then there are people who won't hang. And you want to filter the people who won't hang out. Even if it means that you have to be single for the next 5 years before you find somebody who's willing to lock it in with you because you really vibe, I promise you it was worth the 5 years of being single in order to find them. The worst thing you can do going into dating is doing it out of desperation. It's the worst thing you can do. Because that's what leads to people settling. It's what leads to problems down the road. I can't tell you how many times that I've done couples therapy or I've known people in my personal life who get really far into their relationship and they're in it and they're unhappy because they settled for a bunch of shit because they wanted a relationship before they wanted somebody who would validate who they authentically are. It's the kind of thing that, like, I guarantee you there's people watching this that are like in their late 30s, maybe their 40s, their 50s, who are nodding going, yeah, man, I wasted too many years with that shit. That's what happens. So I'm telling you, out front, right here, Jody, you do not need to put this much pressure on yourself. Literally, it's 7 o'clock. He called you. You said, come over to my apartment. He said he would. Do whatever feels right here. You do not have to put any pressure on this situation. And you know what? Even in this process, there's authenticity there, right? I don't really check my computer very often. Yeah, you got to chase me a little bit. And if he's willing to do it, which he clearly is because he called her after she didn't respond to his email, then great. I'm telling you, it's freeing. Just work with what you got. You don't have to make this more complicated than it is. And if he doesn't like it, good. Too bad. Hit the road. It doesn't have to be something you personalize and go, what's wrong with me that all these men don't like my apartment and they don't like pizza? Is it because I shouldn't like pizza? Is it because I should have to keep a perfectly clean apartment at all times? Is it because I wore my dinosaur t-shirt? What's wrong with me? Oh, I'm going to go talk to a therapist. I'm going to be like, what's wrong with me? I can't lend any men because they don't like these. And you get a therapist like me, I'm going to say, fuck them. It's not about you. It's about them. They don't like it. That's fine. Let them go. Let's find the dude who likes this shit. Yeah, she doesn't have to leave her apartment as a pigsty, but like she also doesn't have to clean it up all the way. She gave him an hour. There's only so much you can do. Order pizza.
All right, books. Okay, on the bookshelf.
Where's the bookshelf? God, I don't know her apartment. Jody, give me some directions. Where's the bookshelf? Oh, no. Okay.
Great.
Nice. Good. Riveting gameplay.
All right, dirty clothes in the basket in the bathroom.
Basket in the bathroom. Is this the bathroom? Yes. It's a nice apartment.
There.
At least the CIA is, I guess, taking care of her financially. Maybe we could put some pants on.
Oh, crap. Do I have time to take a shower first?
Nope.
What should I wear? Oh, hey, Ryan. Yeah, whatever. I just, threw these old things on, 'cause... Yeah, I'm cool. I'm cool. Yeah, I'm just gonna be me. I mean, there's no point in me throwing myself at the guy.
Correct. Wear what's comfy. You're in your apartment. Yes.
You might as well just give up, Aiden. Okay? This date is going on. Period.
This is like when you're divorced and you have a kid and your kid's like 6 years old and you like go on a date for the first time and your kid acts out. That's like literally what's happening here. Anybody who's divorced and gone on a date with kids probably knows what I'm talking about. Like they can get a little weird about it. Like this happens. And like I can appreciate that Jody's like, this is happening. Like you can throw a temper tantrum all you want, dude. This is happening. So you can either get on board, you can throw a temper tantrum, but like we're gonna figure it out. Now I could listen to your concerns. I can hear you out. All of this stuff is cool, but like this is ultimately my decision to make, and I'm gonna make it, and we can respect that. Now, this is also what Ryan signs up for. So what she might do is be like, hey, I just want to let you know. This is the kind of thing that like genuinely, like if you get together and you have kids and you're bringing that to a relationship and say your kids aren't thrilled about it, by the way, you know how every warning sign usually happens because there was an incident? I can think of a few incidents over the course of my life where I have heard about people going on dates and they were not told up front or on the first date that the person they were dating has a child. And I am here to tell you right now, unequivocally, without any reservation, if you have a kid, fucking tell the person you're dating. Make it very clear up front. It's you don't get to hide that. Like you just, especially if the kid's gonna be in any way, shape, or form involved. And there are parents who get bummed out about this because you know that there are people that hear that if you have a kid, they're not gonna want to date you. Yeah, too bad you have a kid. They're not gonna want to date you. That's just how it is. If you've limited your dating pool, you've limited your dating pool. But do not withhold that information. Do not bait and switch them. Okay, well, I'll get them. They'll like me a lot, and then I'll drop that I have a kid, and then maybe they'll be open to it. No, that's shitty, manipulative, awful behavior. Don't do it. You have to have that conversation. So Jody, now ostensibly, Ryan already knows about Aiden. But what you could say if you're Jody is like, hey, Aiden's not thrilled about this. So I just want you to know that we may have some issues because Aiden is throwing a fit about this. In the same way that like if you have a kid and your kids aren't thrilled about you dating, you might have to say, I just want you to know that like my kids don't love that this is happening. So it might make this complicated. And you are upfront about that. And if that's going to turn somebody away and it's going to make them not want to date you, then all is well and good. Let them go, right? It's that person's right to make a determination about whether that's something that they want to sign up for. You know, when you go to therapy or you see a lawyer or whatever, the very first thing they give you is informed consent. Dating includes informed consent. Here's some of the things that you're signing up for. So if you decide you don't want to sign up for that, then cool. We'll go our separate ways. I'll find somebody who doesn't care that I have a paranormal entity attached to my belly button who doesn't like me dating.
Oh my God. God, the dinner.
I genuinely do think it's kind of funny that Aiden's throwing a temper tantrum.
The trash can in the kitchen.
Right. Yes. The trash can in the kitchen. Where is the kitchen? Is this the kitchen? Here's. Oh my God. Resident Evil cameras. Is this even going to fit? This apartment's pretty nice. Makes me miss living in Chicago. We're going to just order a pizza, Ryan. Nice, yeah. He won't see it.
Come on, Aiden, don't be a pain in the ass.
Now, she would do well here to hear his concerns and validate them. She doesn't have to be like super harsh about this, where she's like, too bad, tough shit. You're just going to have to deal with it, blah, blah, blah. Like, she could say, I hear your concerns. You know, we'll talk about it. You know, trust that I can make my own decision. I mean,
I gotta find something I can make in 1 hour.
no, we're not doing
with
that.
what's
We're
ever
ordering a
left in the
pizza.
fridge.
Nope. No, I don't want to cook.
Asian beef. Oh, I mean, that looks good. It's not too complicated.
Order a pizza, Jody.
Curried chicken with
Nope.
oven-baked vegetables.
Nope. Can't
It'll
use the
take
oven.
Some time in the oven, but seems doable.
No. Pizza.
Pizza delivery.
Yes.
I mean, it's not exactly gourmet, but no preparation, no mess. I mean, it could be an option.
Order the pizza.
Pizza. I mean, it's the easy way out, but he's not gonna mind. Now, I'll call him.
I'm going to tell you right now. If I order a pizza, you come over to my place and you go, oh, you got pizza? Goodbye. I'll eat the whole thing. Goodbye. Goodbye. Where is the phone? Didn't it just point the phone at me? Where do I gotta call the pizza place, right?
You know, you're wasting your time. Ivan. You're not gonna stop me from seeing Ryan.
No, but I can't slow you down. This is great. I love that he can act more autonomously now. I mean, that's a little, I guess that is a little bit spooky, but oh, this is great. Oh shit.
Oh, crap.
Hold on, Ryan.
Crap, he's early.
Don't do that. If you say you're going to be there at 8 o'clock, show up at 8. Don't do that. Don't be early. The one thing you shouldn't be early to, in my opinion, is like a date type scenario like this. You tell me you're going to show up to my house at 8 o'clock. Show up. I don't care if you have to sit in your car for 10 minutes. Don't do this, because if you tell me 8, then that gives me enough time to get ready by 8. This is a personal pet peeve. But like, don't do this to people. Don't show up early to their house. It's like when people try to show up early, like show up early to everything else. Don't show up early to somebody's house for a party or for a date.
I'm coming.
Not yet. Maybe later you will be. Or yes, or message her and say, hey, I might be early. Is that cool? Absolutely. But like, don't just show up early. Oh gosh. He's not here yet. Call the pizza place, Jody. Oh, that was Aiden probably messing with her.
Oh, good God, I know the number by heart.
It's fine.
Hey, yeah, could I get a large pizza? The, super supreme?
Hope you're not allergic to black olives.
8:15. Yeah. 6192 Columbus Street. Yeah, the 9th floor. Okay, cool. Great, thanks.
I wish it was 1492 Columbus Street. That would have been awesome.
I'm not too
Missed
proud of
opportunity.
myself, but at least we're gonna eat.
It's fine, Jody. It's cool. The whole floor. Yeah, how about that? She owns she's on the whole 9th floor. All right. Now what? Now what? Bed's made. I'm not putting makeup on. No way. I might clean my face up a little bit, but take a little pre-date dump. No? You know, I don't know how I feel about what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. because these were wise words that were once given to me, and I know many people that it has helped with their decision making. It's not about poop, don't worry. Masturbating before a date's a really good idea. Because especially if if it's not necessarily a hookup, right? Like you're actually trying to figure things out. Masturbating before going on a date can very much help people maintain a sense of clarity when they're on the date, especially if you're like not sure or don't think that you would necessarily hook up, or if you know that you don't want that to be something that drives your decision-making process. And I realize that like you maybe haven't heard this before, but I'm going to be the guy that gives you this advice, because this genuinely, I have known many people that this has helped them immensely. Indeed, going on a date horny is like going to a grocery store hungry. Again, if Jody's like, I know I want, like this is a hookup, then maybe not, right? But it can take an edge off of the experience. And if you've never heard it before, consider the advice. That's all I'm going to say. Because what I was about to say was, Jody, maybe you want to rub one out real quick. Because here's the thing, right? Is like if you do that and you still get horny during the date, then cool, right? If you do it and then you don't get there, and you are more sort of like lucid and not massively hormonal in like a horny way, you might be able to evaluate the situation more effectively. I'm curious, what's the psychology of post-nut clarity? Is being horny just being in heat, but no lesser extent? And to what extent does that influence our actions? A lot. So like, look, we are no different than animals. Okay, now I just want a quick shout out. I know I got people who are asexual that watch me, so I realize what I'm about to say is like mostly irrelevant to you. But I see you and you're cool and I'm glad you're here. For those who are watching me who are sexual to varying degrees of intensity, we're really not any different than other animals in the sense that like there's this kind of funky biological imperative to want to reproduce, and the way that you reproduce is through sex. And the surge of like hormones and impetus for that can be similar in ways to like being hungry. Like think about your decision making if you're hungry. If you're really hungry, it can be harder to make good decisions. If you're horny, it's kind of the same way. What it can do is sort of preoccupy you in this like almost like I've heard people describe it in many different ways. Like it's if you've ever been addicted to nicotine, it's like a nicotine surge where like you can just kind of feel this thing and you're like, I really want to like get off, like this kind of stuff. Like it affects your relationship to people, particularly that you are sexually attracted to. So there's the refractory period, which is a bit different it's different sort of in ways for men and women. And I'm not going to go too far into the whole human sexuality lecture here because I'll be here forever. But like the refractory period is where you have essentially a massive come down from those hormones, because you have the whole cocktail of shit that happens while all of this goes down. And so now, as your body is like recalibrating itself, there's a lucidity that comes along with it that was not present beforehand. In the same way that, I always love the commercials of, you're not who you are when you're hungry. Those Snickers commercials were great. It's kind of the same way with being horny. So it's just one of those things where you can do yourself a solid, and if you take that edge off before you go on a date, because you want to be more lucid in your decision making about the person, not the sexual experience that may be attached to that person, it's a good way to somewhat neutralize that. That's all I'm saying. Doesn't necessarily work every time or for everyone, but it's a little word to the wise. It's the kind of things that people sometimes get weird about talking about in public spaces because, but I have seen it make a difference for people. Oh, what an interesting, okay. We're going to leave the shades open. I'm not giving him any ideas. Maybe things will go a certain way. Maybe they won't. What time is it? Can I put some music on? Actually, no, because I don't want to get copyrighted. Because I got claimed on episode 4 because of the music in this game. Can I clean this up? No. Nope. Not doing that. Nice. We're going to eat pizza in fine china. Ooh, little ambiance. Okay. Ugh.
Oh, yeah, that's very funny, Aiden.
Yeah.
Wow, it's very romantic.
Ooh, 1901. We're not gonna take a nap. No. What are you doing?
Chill out, Jody.
Okay.
Okay, just calm down. There's no need to panic. You're gonna be great.
All right, you ready? This is DrMick's wheelhouse. Severe anxiety. Severe and debilitating anxiety. My jam. Now, self-talk is cool. However, we're gonna change it up a little bit. We're gonna change it up a little bit what she said here. You don't need to talk yourself out of the emotions you're experiencing. I'm going to repeat this again for the folks in the back. You don't need to talk yourself out of the emotions you're experiencing. You need to acknowledge them. The way that you take power away from them is to name them. And to name them as the same way that you would say it's nighttime outside. I'm anxious. It's laying down and going, okay, I'm anxious. I'm nervous about him coming over. I haven't been on a date in a long time. And that's okay. It's okay. I get to be anxious right now. It's part of the gig. And I don't need to make it go away. I don't need to talk myself out of it. It's just trying to protect me. I don't know how this is going to go, and it's making me nervous. And then reminding yourself, and I know what to do. It's just pizza. It's just pizza. We're in my apartment. I can say no at any time. I've got a backup plan. You know, I've got a friend I can call if I need to or whatever. I have an out, which I would, good if she has that. But, and I'm anxious. I don't know how it's going to go. Maybe I'll say something weird and it's fine. There's a good chance he's anxious too. And he's probably not going to see it in the way that I think he's going to. So I'm going to be very mindful not to make my anxiety his problem by projecting it onto him. So I may even name that I'm anxious when I'm with him. Who knows? But it's okay. You get to be here. It makes sense why you're here. So I'm going to do this date while you're present, but I'm not going to let you drive the bus. That's the self-talk. As soon as you say, don't be anxious, don't panic, it's going to be fine, you're being ridiculous, that's trying to talk yourself out of what you're experiencing. It's there for a reason. And a lot of people struggle with this when I initially try to walk them through it, because what people worry about is that if you name it, it's going to make it worse, that you're going to breathe life into it and that you're going to panic. And that's not really going to happen. It's going to happen if you play out a shitload of what ifs, if you indulge some thoughts that are irrelevant, that kind of stuff. But just naming it for what it is and recognizing your ability to perform while it's present is going to make a huge difference, particularly if you practice it. Don't wait until this moment in order to do it first. This is the type of thing you have to practice. You have to integrate in your daily life. You make the effort to change your self-talk around anxiety when you don't need it. So this is not the first time I would want her to do this. We'd be walking through what this process is like so that she knows how it goes, so that when rubber does meet the road, it's already something that she's comfortable with doing. I'm not going to say like, hey, wait till you go on a date to do this exercise. It's no, we're going to do it right now. You're going to hear yourself say it out loud. And her talking to herself out loud can actually be very helpful. It can make thoughts, it can make it feel more real. I often encourage people, like, stand in front of the mirror or do what she's doing. Lay down, close your eyes, say it out loud. Hear your voice say these things. Don't just keep it in here. There's a big difference between hearing your voice say it and hearing your thoughts say it. And you'd be amazed at how many times in my career I have tried to get somebody to say something like compassionate about themselves or like do some of this anxiety talk out loud to themselves, and they like lock up or like won't do it. Like, if you won't do it out loud right now, you certainly won't do it when the time comes. And so we're going to work on this skill and we're going to build it. We're going to build an awareness around your emotions, and we're going to get comfy with them. We're going to take them for what they are. We're not going to play a tug of war with your anxiety. It's there for a reason. The more you play a tug of war with it, the more it's going to want to fight back. So what she's doing here isn't bad, but this is the way that I would augment this so that maybe she works more effectively with it. How would you handle OCD type thoughts about something you did in the past during a date? Reality checking. What you did in the past during a date has no impact whatsoever on what's going to happen at this date. One, you can't control what happened in the past. Two, that's a completely unrelated scenario that has no bearing on the scenario you're in right now beyond whatever you think it does. And three, we're going to free shift your focus on controlling what you can control right now. Is there something to be learned from that moment so that maybe you do something differently now? Cool. If not, there's nothing to really learn from it. It's just something that happened. Then we're just going to focus on this specific date in front of us. We're not going to ruminate about something that is already done and isn't affecting this moment. What does this look like? Practicing when you aren't anxious to be better at self-talk when you are. Do the self-talk when you're not anxious so that you hear yourself say it out loud so you know what it sounds like. Go back and rewind this video and play out what I just did. Write it down and say it to yourself many times a day. And then when you start to feel anxiety start to sink in, it'll be easier to do that. If you wait till you're anxious, you're not going to remember to do all this stuff. So you say these things. You stand in front of a mirror every morning and go, I matter. My feelings are valid. I mean, I say every single stream, I say, you matter, your experiences are valid. Don't let anybody ever tell you otherwise. You stand in front of a mirror and say that. I matter. I'm awesome. I'm going to control what I can control. I'm going to react to what I cannot. But you do that even when you're not anxious. It's in the same way that, like, if you want to get good at shooting free throws when you're playing for your college basketball team, you shoot free throws in a gym when there's no pressure on. It's the same thing with this. It's a skill you have to develop. And the idea is that you make that pathway something that is so rehearsed that when the time comes that you need it, you've practiced it. And people don't treat these things like skills. They treat these things like they're things you're just magically supposed to be able to do. And that's not how it works. In fact, what people do is they practice the bad shit. They practice the what ifing. They practice the cognitive distortions. They can say that real easy. Oh, I can tell you exactly the what if pathways I'm going to go down. Well, you're practicing that when you do that. What if you're always anxious? Join the club. Join the club. You're a fucking human. It's what it is. Anxiety is part of the gig because you will always, in perpetuity for the rest of your life, be confronted with unknowns. All anxiety is a physiological response to the perception of something that's unknown. So join the club. You and everybody else in the world are anxious. There are certain people that have disordered anxiety, which is then going to require some level of intervention via therapy and possibly medication. But the overwhelming bulk of humanity experiences anxiety as a matter of course. Anxiety is not pathological. Just because you have anxiety doesn't mean you have a disorder. Everybody experiences anxiety because there are always unknowns. So what do? You do exactly what I'm talking about right now. You practice the healthy orientation to anxiety. You get to know your anxiety. You appreciate it. You understand its function. You understand the ways that you can notice when you're experiencing it. And you get familiar with the idea that you can do a lot of things while you're anxious. So many people believe that they can only act and perform when they're not anxious, and that's not true. I work with really high-level athletes, and I'm here to tell you right now that every single high-level athlete I've ever worked with, when they're performing at their best, is still anxious because that's just how it is. So what if you're always anxious? Yeah, so is everybody else. Get more comfortable with it, understand it better, and engage some of the self-talk that I'm talking about here. All right, here we go. It's almost 8 o'clock. Not a lot left to do. Maybe shut the laptop. There we go. Air the place out a little bit. Steady. All right. Well, let's just relax a little bit here. Oh, there he is. See? He didn't even shave. He left his stubble on. Okay. The last thing I'm going to say here is when I talk about projecting your insecurities onto other people, particularly in a circumstance like a date, the only time, more often than not, that anything you're worried a person's going to see, the only time they're going to see it is if you draw attention to it. So if Ryan didn't shave and he's like freaking out about the fact that he's not clean shaven right now going into Jody's apartment, the only way she's really going to care about it or have any attention brought to it is going to be if he goes, oh yeah, I didn't shave before I came in. I'm sorry. He's apologizing for something he doesn't even need to know he has to apologize for. If Jody says, oh, you didn't shave. Okay. You still don't have to like personalize that. You're just like, yeah, no, you gave me an hour, right? Like you own it. So everybody's too worried about their own shit to care about the stuff that you're worried about. And again, I say that to take pressure off of these moments. Like who cares? This was an hour. He called me an hour ago. So he's going to show up how he is. I'm here how I am. Authenticity, baby. That's what it's all about. All right. Get the door. Forget where the door is because this is not my house. So, okay, here we go. Here we go.
I didn't behave yourself. Okay, this is important to me, and I'm counting on you.
Nice. That's good. That's vulnerable.
Chateau Margaux, 2001. The guy in the store said it was a pretty good year.
That sounds good to me. So.
Oh, he's nervous too. How adorable.
Why don't you sit? I'll get the thing that opens the wine.
Oh God, where is it? I've forgotten my own house. No music on. Not having background noise is so weird.
Cool apartment.
Huh? Yeah, thanks. Aiden. For fuck's sakes.
This is a moment where I really would say to him, you know, hey, just so you know, Aiden's a little bit, he's on one right now. You know, in the same way that, like, if my cat's kind of being a dick and somebody came over, you know, cat's kind of being a douche right now. So just be aware. It would take a lot of the pressure of this off of her. It also makes it Aiden's fault, right? Like, if Aiden's the one acting out and she's not the one that's making him do it, put it on Aiden. Right? It's like, hey, you might hear some weird shit. If your hair gets ruffled when I'm not here or something breaks or whatever, just know he's not happy with this. I've told him that it's important to me and that I want him to behave. He doesn't seem to be interested in doing that. I just want to let you know that. Because if she tries to hide it, she's taking responsibility for something that's not really hers to take responsibility for. And it lets him know what's going on. And then it sets an expectation that makes it a little bit easier to ease into when your experience is that something's going on. Right? It's like, hey, my kid's being a douche today. I'm doing what I can. It takes all the power away from it. So I'm not a wine drinker. Does wine go well with pizza? I don't really like wine. Never had one that really enjoyed. It just seems like a weird combo. But he's fine. He didn't know I was bringing pizza, and I don't really care that much. I'm just genuinely curious. Like, it's not a combo I would imagine putting together. Although people have like wine with other Italian foods, so I guess maybe it's not that weird. I don't know.
Do you want me to open it?
No, I'll do it.
Yeah. I got it. Don't worry, Ryan. So remember that time 5 years ago I ripped you away from your parent? Oh God. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah. Oh God. I don't know how to drink wine, Ryan. I'm sorry. Jesus Christ.
To my new apartment.
Oh, so when did you move in?
We're not doing it.
A couple weeks ago. Yeah, the agency found it for me and all furnished and everything, which is... It's actually the first place I've ever had just by myself. So it's weird getting used to the idea of it. And how about you? Where do you live?
Oh, I have a place just outside of town. Yeah, it's small, but you know, it's got a little garden and it's pretty quiet.
And did you grow up here? Or?
No, I was born in Oregon. Yeah, my parents and brother still live there, but I moved out when I was 16.
16. Oh. Did you get kicked out or something?
Well, things were pretty chaotic at home. My stepfather liked to beat me when he had too much to drink, and I just decided to get out before one of us went too far.
Sucks you were in that position, but good for you for getting out. Oh God, she didn't say anything.
How did you end up joining the CIA?
That's pretty vulnerable. I mean, Maybe she's thrown, but look, I don't expect people to be perfect in these situations. I'm certainly not. I have the ability to pause and then, you know. I'm going to give you a little tip, little nugget. Maybe I gave it in this playthrough already. I don't know. Just a little nugget. If you are ever stuck, somebody ever says something to you about something they experienced, and you don't know what to say, just say this. Just look at that person and go, what was that like? Or what was that like? Whatever the tone is necessary there. Just say, what was that like? That is one of the best ways to get people to talk. One of the best ways. What was that like? Or how was that for you? Ask questions. I'm telling you, man, questions. That dude, I mean, he just goes something vulnerable and go, what's, man, okay, so it's 16. You gotta, I mean, wow, like, what was that like to do that? I'm sure he could talk forever about that, and that's great. So, the silence is fine, too, and her shifting the conversation maybe gives a signal, I'm not comfortable talking about that. I don't really know where to go with that. But put it in your little folder. If you're ever stuck and somebody discloses something and you don't know what to say in response, just say, what was that like? By the way, that's the question that bypasses how did that make you feel as a therapist. I never ask that question because it's cliche and it drives people crazy and they roll their eyes. It's the way you bypass that question. What was that like? There's like a bunch. There's a bunch of terms and questions you can ask that get to that same place. Equifinality is a real thing. You learn how to get around the how does that make you feel question. Anyway, I realize, again, that this date is weird and that we already talked about all the power dynamics. So henceforth, I'm going to treat this seriously. I'm going to treat this as something that Jody wants to do. I realize we could pontificate forever about how problematic this relationship is. We get it. Now we're gonna focus on the interactional dynamics of this because I think it'll make for better content.
I went through college, not really knowing what I wanted to do. Tried the Army. Looking for the action, travel, adventure, long enough to realize that wasn't for me. And when a CIA agent recruiter approached me, I jumped at it.
And so I inductively thought that when a CIA recruiter, jumped at you, you would jump at it because that's what I did. That's inductive reasoning. Just so you know, I mean, it makes sense why maybe he showed up in the way that he did. I jumped at it. Why wouldn't she? Inductive reasoning. Using my experience to try to make an assumption about somebody else's experience or perception on something instead of using more than just that, which would be deductive reasoning. Little example right there.
Hold on.
Hey, how's it going?
All right. You keep the change.
Thanks.
I ordered pizza. I hope that's...
No, pizza's good. Don't sweat it.
Wow, we ate most of it. I'm not going to mess with this.
We've been working together now for what, 2 years? I know almost nothing about you.
Well, I mean, there's nothing much to say. I grew up with my parents on the DPA campus, and then Nathan looked after me, and, well, I mean, you pretty much know the rest, so.
Your parents, do you still see them?
No, I don't. I think they were just terrified about how different I was. So, Nathan and Cole, they brought me up more or less. They taught me how to cope with Aiden, how to accept myself as I am. I mean, it wasn't always easy, but I'm making progress.
Did Nathan ever manage to explain to you why you have this link with Aiden?
No.
See, this is where when you're in a co-working relationship, this gets a little funky. That question puts my antenna up. Question had a little vibe to it. Now, of course, work is something that we have in common. Yes, Aiden is something that you know about. I get why he might want to know a little bit more about what's going on if he's going to date her. There's also a part of me that's like, is this actually, and this is why these dual relationships are problematic, because there's a part of me, if I'm her, that's going, is this date really about intimacy between the two of us? Or is this a way to get more information out of me because I've generally been withholding throughout the recruitment program because I didn't want to be there, in which case that would be horrible. But it's also why this contributes to the layers of why you can't avoid talking about the dual relationship that they have, because it makes questions like that something that you have to have. It might be totally benign. It might be totally benign. He might genuinely be curious, but we can't know that for sure because this relationship is compromised in the way that it's set up. So it makes this a bit weird. My little antenna go like this.
I mean, not really. I mean, they learned a lot of stuff about the infra world. Really not much about Aiden. I mean, I don't think even he knows who or what he is.
It's like, is he here now, listening to us?
Yeah. Yeah, he never leaves me.
Not the threesome you signed up for, eh, bud? Ooh, look at that body language.
What about you? Do you have any family here?
No, my
You see that? Yeah, dude. It's what you signed up for, brother. I don't know what to tell you.
parents are still in Oregon. Go to see them as little as possible.
And are you,
Now, I say this, this isn't really tongue-in-cheek. I do actually mean this. It's hard not to say this without some, like, haha to it. This is the type of stuff that when people are horny, they don't think properly about. Like, in all seriousness, this is the type of stuff that if you're on a date and you're attracted to this person and you want to bang and you hear somebody say something that would normally give you pause, horniness will push you over. It's kind of like that bad friend that eggs you on to doing something that you know is really not in your best interest to do. Like, if you saw his posture change there. So if he's like, ooh, he's here, I don't love that, and he rubbed one out in the car before he came up to the apartment, he might be more like, you know, actually that might not work for me. But if he's half-mast horn dogging it right now, sitting at this table eating pizza, he might say to himself, I can deal with that. It has a very real effect on people. It does. So this is part of what my point is. I'm not saying that like rubbing one out before the date is going to spare you all of this, but this is where real like lucidity and awareness of your orientation to these types of things is important. Like if somebody says something to you and you go like, ooh, I don't know that I love that. You make note. And yes, you are correct. In her direction, she might miss that. She might not see that he just reared back. It's a nice little bit of mocap. Because she may not notice that he did that. And that's an important thing for her to also see. Not that she has to call it out, but you can make note of it. You know, I noticed you didn't seem thrilled by the idea that Aiden's here. But it'll ruin the date. Well, will it? Or will you get more information that you need in order to make a better decision about the rest of the date going forward?
Are you married or anything?
No. But, yes, I mean, I was. You know, my ex-wife and I have been separated for 2 years. And, yeah, it couldn't work. I mean, in the end, it didn't. You know, we had our good times, but eventually we decided to go our separate ways. How about you? Anyone on your radar?
What was that? What? This isn't a work meeting? What? What? I can't tell if this is bad writing or if they're dense. What? What about you? Any boys on the radar? Brother. It's...
I've got Aiden, so.
I mean, anyone in our world.
You know what? Aiden kind of has always made people run away. or maybe it's me. Maybe I'm just too odd for anyone to be interested in.
You're special, Jody. Aiden's got nothing to do with this.
I'm sorry.
No, I thought you...
No, it's not. It's... it's my fault. I can't.
I better go.
Good. Hey, perfect. That's great. That's great. If that's what he was there for, that's what he was hoping for, and it didn't happen, and he's like, I should go, great, go. See you later. Way better than him trying to push the issue, which is unfortunately what a lot of dudes do. You didn't mean that, no. I just haven't been charming enough. I mean, seriously. I mean, she's already in a really vulnerable place having him in her apartment like this. Him getting up, he can be disappointed. The disappointment is not a problem. If he's disappointed and he gets up and he leaves, that's the best case scenario for Jody here. Other than him being like, oh, wow, okay, yeah, I totally had this completely misread. I'm totally fine with this not going anywhere. We can finish our pizza and chill, or do you want me to leave? I mean, that's fine too. But him saying, I'm out of here, good. Good. If that's what he was in this for. As unfortunately, that's not what all people do. A no doesn't necessarily mean push harder.
Are you happy, Aiden?
He didn't do anything.
You got what you wanted. Yeah, I know it's not your fault. I completely freaked out. He's gonna think I'm an idiot. I am such a fucking idiot.
And now this is where you go away from personalization, because you said no for a reason. And even if whether it was because you weren't ready, or because you know it's not the right thing, or whether it's because you freaked out, the reality is you're better off saying no to something and trying to deal with the fallout from that than saying yes to something and dealing with the fallout from it. If you're gonna, I mean, particularly as it relates to something like sex, if you're gonna engage with somebody, it needs to be 100% yes. You are better off bailing on a 99% yes than you are going forward on a. You're better off bailing. And then if you're like, oh, okay, maybe I did want that, it's a better position to be in. You can call them, go, hey, I freaked out. My bad. Didn't mean to put you in that position. Just needed a second. I'm actually kind of down. Let's hang out again. You can clean it up. And if he's like, no, you rejected me once, I won't have it happen again, then he's not the right person. You're way better off here dealing with the collateral of this. Depersonalizing it, I think, would be a good idea here. This isn't, it's not you being an idiot. You said no. I mean, you're the one that shut it down. So it's okay. You can take accountability for that. If it was because you projected a bunch of stuff onto him, then it means, yes, you've got some stuff you got to figure out for yourself. And that means maybe you're not ready to date. And that's okay. We have a saying in the therapy world that everything is feedback. It's all information. So you take it for what it is and you analyze it and you crack it open and you deal with the emotion and it's fine. But I'd much rather have her sitting here going like, okay, was no the right option, than her sitting there going, was yes the right option? Way, 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 way better to be in this spot, as hard as it is.
You know, you were right. Maybe he's just not my type. I wonder if anyone is.
Have another drink, Jody.
I've always got you, Aiden, right?
Sure hope so. Aiden's the parent that you go home to and you say, I had a bad date, and you hear it out instead of going, you went out with Ryan? It's the one that says, yeah, tell me about it. See, you're upset about it. Let's talk. Clean the apartment, 79%. Didn't exit, 40%. Didn't sleep with Ryan, 72%. Ordered pizza or didn't cook, 24%. Dressed casually, 27%. How about that? All right. Well, that's going to be it for this episode. 2-hour episode. A lot of stuff in it. Thank God we got away from the stupid-ass military montage and had some stuff to talk about. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Leave a thumbs up if you did. Leave a comment. All that fun stuff. I hope that my words are helpful in some way. Maybe there's something you connect to. Would love to hear if that's the case. You know, point of these playthroughs is for me to try to take what we see and hopefully make it somewhat relatable to things that you might come across in your own lives interpersonally or intrapsychically. So if I'm hitting the mark, thumbs up, subscribe, share the playthrough. If you're binging, make sure you hop over to the next episode. Even if you're gonna leave, just go to the next episode and start it and then leave. It makes a big difference for the algorithm. Thanks for making it all the way to the end. I appreciate you all immensely. If you are binging, I'll see you in the next episode. If you're waiting for the next one to come out, I'll get it out as soon as I can. You're awesome. You matter. I'll see you in the next one.